Yes, I'm in.
All right, ready.
Okay, it's 1 o'clock. I'm going to call the June 17th Board of Commission meeting to order. Today, we're going to start out with the prayer from Commissioner Sarkella, followed by the pledge by Commissioner Lee.
Dear Heavenly Father, we come together today with grateful and humble hearts. We're most thankful for the weather that you give us. Keep us safe in our travels this summer. And we ask that you would allow us to enjoy the wonderful creation that you give us. We're also grateful, Lord, that we can gather in a free country. And we ask that you would be with us during our meeting. Allow us to make thoughtful, sound decisions for our friends and neighbors. And in your most precious Son's name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Leslie, roll call, please.
District 1 Chairman John Block,
Present.
District 2 Commissioner Roger Ballard,
Present.
District 3 Commissioner Gary Heberling,
Here.
District 4 Commissioner Bill Sarkella,
Present.
District 5 Commissioner Christine Lee,
Present.
District 6 Commissioner Evans Ehart,
Here.
District 7 Commissioner John Moody.
Here.
Thank you, Leslie.
Here.
If there are no corrections or deletions to today's agenda, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented. So I have a motion from Commissioner Ballard, support from Commissioner Ehart to adopt the agenda as presented. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Agenda is adopted. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve our meeting minutes from June 3rd.
So moved. Support.
I have a motion from Commissioner Moody, support from Commissioner Heberlein to adopt our meeting minutes from June 3rd. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. You received your correspondence from Jody through email the other day. We're going to move into commissioner reports and we will start with Commissioner Ballard.
Oh, let's see, last night I was in Lamont Township. They approved the purchase of a proposed trailer by the fire department. They recently purchased an air supply compressor to recharge tanks. And now they are considering this trailer to make it a mobile unit so they can recharge the mobile tanks on scene. They discussed road brine. That's always a big discussion at township meetings. People don't like dust, and I don't blame them. And they approved their bills. Last week I stopped at Marlette Township's meeting on my way to Delaware Township, just to see if anything important was going on. They really had nothing out of the ordinary. June 5th, I was at the city of Marlette. They had a special meeting regarding the hiring of a new city manager. They had narrowed it down to 2 candidates and they offered it to one from Harson's Island. Some issues came up and they rescinded that offer and offered it to their number 2 candidate from Emily City, and she has accepted. I don't recall her name, but she did accept the position, so pretty excited to get a new manager in town. They approved a policy change that will put full-time employees at 40 hours a week instead of 35. On the 5th also, I attended Argyle meeting. That was a short meeting. They approved their MTA dues and training and had discussion on upgrades to the township park. That's it for now.
Good. Thank you, Roger. Gary?
John, I don't have a report. We spent the last week and a half down in North Carolina to our youngest granddaughter's graduation. Just got back last night, so I couldn't attend too many meetings up here.
So you're the reason why we're going to have all this heat because you brought it back with you?
Yeah, it was hot down there.
In the winter, not now.
I was telling John before, I took my bike with me in the back of the truck and I had to wait till 9 o'clock at night and it was still 87 degrees, but when you get back, you're wet, but good exercise though.
Well, good.
Supposed to ride early morning.
He doesn't get up that early.
All right. Thank you, Gary. Bill?
Just Port Sanilac, they approved their annual budget, second quarter newsletter, and there was discussion on the fishing ordinance for the municipal docks in town. That's all I have.
Okay. Thank you, Bill. Christine?
Brown City, they passed 2 resolutions. One was understanding the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority for Maple Valley Estates redevelopment project. And the other one was concurring with the provision of a Brownfield plan, and they both were adopted. What the plan will do is they're looking at putting 70 new units out at Maple Valley Estate. And they decided to vote down no chickens in town. Police station did not get their grant. They had their spring cleanup. Festival did a great job. The committee did a great job with the festival, and the new police car is really a nice EV car. The police chief really likes it. Then I had Maple Valley Township. The roadside mowing has started. Gravel, they talked about gravel. They hired 2 different people to mow the lawn, one for the township and one for the cemetery. The one that was mowing it has decided not to do it anymore. And then they had a complaint about the brine, that once the brine went down, the one person was complaining that it only lasts a week and the dust is still going. Flint Township, they talked about brine too, when it should be done. It's supposed to be started the last week. Brush spraying hasn't started. The sign for the Omar Cemetery, the stone is in Georgia. Again, a lot of land divisions. And that's it for that township, and that's it for my report.
Okay, thank you, Christine. I myself received a phone call from one of the commissioners in Tuscola County. This board will probably remember I forget exactly how long ago it was, but there's the issue of the Amish and them being hit on M53. There's a desire to put a bridge in so that they have somewhere to get off the main highway. And I know we passed a resolution here at our board supporting that effort. And I was hopeful that that would move forward, but the commissioner I spoke with from Tuscola said that they ran into some serious problem. The land they wanted to use to do it was state land, and there was federal money used on that land. So now the federal government and the state government are involved in the process of trying to put that bridge in. So there's a feeling like it's probably not going to happen, or if it does, it'll be 100 years from now. So he wanted to get with me and just get me in the loop about this. They have another concept, which would be the creation of a county road, and that would require Sanilac County and Tuscola to kind of collaborate on that. And I told them to fire me off the information that they have. So they're going to have like a preliminary meeting in Tuscola. And I said, once you have something that's a map, you have pictures, you have drawings, send it my way, and then I'll share it with you guys. And obviously this would be the road commission would be involved in it. Him and I had that discussion as well. The Tuscola is similarly set up to Sanilac in that regard, that there's road commissioners and the county are somewhat separated. But they actually have a representative from their county board that's on the road commission. And I know we don't have that here, but Gary, you and I have worked with the road commission on issues in the past and had good success with them. So, so that's something that I'll keep you guys in the loop on. Hopefully we can come up with some kind of solution that can actually move forward and get that resolved, because as you guys see in the news, people hitting those, the Amish buggies is something that seems to continue. So. Other than that, I had a few conversations with some Delaware Township officials about the parks presentation that they took up there last week. And that's all I have.
Last week, Lexington Township Lexington Council had a meeting to fill a position on the board. I was unable to attend. It was a special council meeting, so I was unable to attend, but I'll find out on Monday at the next council meeting. Would you like to put on that open spot?
That it? Yep. Thank you, Evans. John?
On the 10th, I had Speaker Township Board. Their fire department reported 2 runs, and they also have an open house on July 19th. And they filled 3 pools. The little extra money they get for their fire department by filling some pools. The zoning administrator report, they issued 3 new land use permits and a couple of land split. They went into closed session to speak with their attorney. Looking at having the work crew maybe would do some cleanup at the cemetery. And they converted their fire truck fund to a 1-year CD to make a little extra money on that. On the 12th, I had Fremont Township. They were actually really busy that night on a lot of issues. So they had a chalk art contest where a lot of local businesses donated prizes, and that went really well. They're starting to put chloride on the roads. They're looking at having a company come fix some headstones in their cemetery also. In zoning, they issued a second warning for blight. They have a new enforcement officer position And they signed their Crowell EMS contract, and they had a notice of public meeting and site plan publication. That was the email that I sent you guys all. It's gonna be on July 9th in Peck, and I don't know if there was a time yet, so. That's about it.
Okay, thank you, John. Appreciate everyone's commissioner reports. Nathan, your administrator report, please.
Yeah, first off, we had our employee health fair last week. I think things went very well. It was well received by employees. Some good information was provided. We had some good vendors here. Mackenzie participated, did some various testing and stuff for employees. And I think, again, it went over well amongst employees. So that's our second year doing that, and I think it's been positive both years. Secondly, budgets are in. So I've just this morning was meeting, myself and Christy, our finance director, were meeting, discussing some things with the budget and seeing what we have to do to work to create a balanced budget. So we're working on that right now.
Anything that really stuck out at you, Nathan, that you got back from the departments as of yet?
No, I mean, I think most of the requests were as they typically are, very, very fair. There might be a couple of things that we might have to sit down and discuss where certain expenditures are just going up, at a higher rate than others. But for the most part, the increases requests were very fair.
Okay.
The cement is poured at the animal control as of I believe just today. They started early this morning, so they're making good headway. It was down there Friday, walked on the site a little bit. It's nice when you can get inside, I guess, the footings of the building and get a sense for it. So the in-floor heat was going in at that time. Cement's poured as of today, so they're making good progress on things. And then lastly, I've had some discussions with Brian Wilkie, our health department director, as you know, and he is digging into things and trying to evaluate the role of the health department with all the alternative energy issues, noise with those projects, and kind of what and where their role lands in that. So he's doing his homework on that, which is good. So
good.
That's all I have.
Any questions for Nathan?
I stopped by the animal control because I'd heard they were pouring concrete. Jeremy figured they'd finish at 1, and it was, I think, 11:35. They were just taking the power trowel off and hand trawling a couple of little spots. And so they'd probably have the walls up Thursday, and I think the trusses were due in the 26th. So I said, so you'll be done probably end of July.
You ran right over.
No, probably not. But it's looking good. It's nice to see a floor down there anyways. It's good weather for it.
I was thinking myself this morning about our animal control crew and how they're gonna literally walk out of their current facility and cross the street into the new facility, and this is gonna be a completely different experience.
Whole new world.
Yeah,
I was thinking the same thing when I was walking out of there.
it's very good to see that moving forward. Any further questions for Nathan? Seeing none, Nathan, thank you for your report. Public comments pertaining to the agenda. Are there any public comments pertaining to the agenda today?
I'm just here to speak for Bonnie Erb for the county library appointment, so I can be called up when you're ready for it.
Oh, okay,
Like
yeah,
Gail
absolutely.
Nurker.
What, I'm sorry, what?
Gail Nurker.
Gail?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, no problem.
Is there any further public comment pertaining to the agenda? Seeing none, we are going to move on. We have a presentation from Region 7 Area on Aging. Monica is here to give us a presentation. Welcome.
Thank you. All right, so my name is Monica Fryer. I'm the interim executive director at Region 7 Area Agency on Aging. And I just want to first recognize Christine Lee. She is our board member for Region 7 as well, and thank her for her service and everything she does for us. So that, and Mr. Bill Walters is also here, and he is the chair of our advisory council at Region 7 and also serves on our board and is our board secretary. So you've got double representation, and they both do a fine job with that. So I appreciate both of them. We like to come out at least once a year, make sure you know who we are, what we're doing, and what is happening in your county as well, as far as we go, as far as Region 7 goes. So we're celebrating 50 years this year that the concept of an area agency on aging was born from the Older Americans Act. There are now approximately 600 area agencies on aging across the United States. Region 7, along with 15 other AAAs, make up the entire service area for the state of Michigan. And our planning service area is comprised of Bay, Saginaw, Midland, Isabella, Gratiot, Clare, Gladwin, Tuscola, Sanilac, and Huron counties. We also have a Sunrise Case Center that serves Fort Gratiot, serves the St. Clair County. And I know they come up into Sanilac County for your residents as well. So what do we do as a AAA? I know a lot of people don't know who we are or that we even exist. We provide funding to supplement county millages and partner with local organizations such as Departments on Aging to make numerous programs available to elderly and disabled adults in your communities. We're able to provide administrative and operational functions at a cost of approximately 5% versus the state level administrative cost of 15%. So we're a bargain. We also have the benefit of being the boots on the ground in your communities. Every single day, there is somebody from my staff that is in your county. They go out, they meet with people, they determine what services they're eligible for, and they get those set up for them. In addition, we contract with over 150 service providers across those 10 counties to provide those services. We offer a comprehensive agency-wide brochure that provides a snapshot of all those services available to the elderly and disabled adults in your community. And I gave each one of you a folder with all kinds of materials for our agency. And what I will tell you is this, that is your toolkit. It's also a bit of homework. I would ask that as you're out and about, if you know someone who needs help, either a senior or a disabled adult, give them any of those pieces of information. They all have our phone number on them. That will get them to someone at our agency. You don't have to answer any questions. They'll take it from there and see that they get whatever help they need. If they don't qualify for services directly through us, they will get them to the right people. They obtain and keep track of all the resources that are available. So it's just a very nice resource for you. And like I said, all you gotta do is give them any of that and they'll get to the right people. So we also offer programs such as the My Choice Waiver Program and the Care Management Program that offer services such as personal care, meals, all designed to keep people in their homes. Other services provided through Sanilac County include transportation, caregiver training, case coordination and support, home delivered and congregate meals, kinship, and utility assistance, among others. So what does all that mean for Sanilac County when you start talking about numbers? So there's a sheet in there you can look at whenever you want that actually details all of this out. But the short version of that is this. Sanilac County in 2024 paid Region 7 $2,911 in dues to participate in the Area Agency on Aging. In return, what your county received was $394,210.82. That came in the form of all these services listed on this sheet. So that's a pretty good return on that dues investment. And that all went to those vulnerable adults that need help. Now, I will point out at the bottom of that sheet, we list off waiver. That's the My Choice Waiver Program. That one is not part of that $394,000. That is a Medicaid-based program that is all paid for by Medicaid. That program, along with the PACE program that I mentioned too, they both provide services to people in the community, and they're designed to keep them out of nursing homes. So to be on either of those programs, they have to be what we call nursing facility level of care. And what I always tell people is if that means that if we don't give you the help that you need in your home, it's very likely that you would be in a nursing home. That program was designed to allow people to live independently or as independently as possible in their communities, right where they want to be. They don't want to be in an institution. So as I'm wrapping up, I want to talk about Medicaid just for a minute, because it's so important right now. I'm sure you're all hearing different things about Medicaid cuts, potential cuts. I can tell you that we are advocating at the state level and the federal level. We work through both the state agency for all the AAAs and our individual AAAs. And we're meeting with legislators. We're testifying at subcommittees, anything we can to help prevent them from cutting these valuable services for seniors and vulnerable adults. We're starting to hear better things. We're starting to hear that it is not their intent to cut those services. I don't know what the future holds. I just know that we're going to keep fighting for those services as long and as hard as we need to. And there's another piece in here. This is through our state association of the AAAs. And it does give you some numbers on the My Choice Waiver Program. And it'll tell you that there's over 16,000 people in the state that are on that program. That's 16,000 people that if they didn't have these services could be in a nursing home. The last time I checked, there's only approximately 3,000 beds at any given time available in nursing homes. So what any cuts to that program could mean is a catastrophic situation. We would have people going without what they need. And as you well know, any one of us might say, I don't want to go to a nursing home, even if I don't have help. And they might stay home and we don't know what might become of them. So it's a cause that is near and dear to all our hearts at Region 7. And I can tell you too that the cost to keep them in their home is approximately $114 a day under our program. The cost to put them in a nursing home is $268 a day. So it also would cost a lot more money for everybody to put everyone in a nursing home. So we're going to keep up that fight, and I encourage you that if you talk to any of your lawmakers, please tell them about this. Tell them how important these services are to our community. Any questions for me?
When you're talking about lawmaker, you're talking federal or
State,
state. I mean,
yeah, your Congress people and your senators.
I know that's been a big issue. When I start talking about cotton, that's been on the board for a while. That's a good thing. It's a positive thing, what you're saying.
Yes, we're keeping up, talking to them almost daily across the entire state.
Sure.
If not them, their staff. We're just calling them, emailing them, meeting them, whatever we have to do.
Good.
Any other questions?
Thank you for the extra.
Oh, yes,
Handy.
anytime, and you've got our phone number. If you ever want more, I always have staff coming over this way. We can drop more off if you need it.
Or you can contact me and I can.
Yeah, I
drop
can
it.
send them with Christine or Bill anytime. So.
Any further questions for Monica? We appreciate you being here today.
Thank you.
That's going to conclude presentations today. So we're going to move into interviews. The first one will be for Bonnie Erb, but Gail, you're here for Bonnie.
Love to speak for Bonnie. I don't think she had a chance. I told her that I would be happy to speak for her because I do like speaking. My name is Gail Narcus. I'm the retired director at the Sandon District Library. I was employed there as a director for 26 years, hard to believe. My husband and I both retired. He was a CPA here in town. We both retired a couple of years ago. I now serve as the volunteer treasurer for the Port Sanilac Museum, like doing books. I don't mind doing them for free for them at all. And Joe is out on our farm right now. Big party crops. I'm here to ask that the board appoint Bonnie Erb as a member of the County Library Millage Board. The millage was instituted in 1987 to help local libraries with funding. All of the local libraries have a variety of ways of being funded, some less than others, and this millage was instituted to help everybody provide some type of service. The millage is voted on every 4 years. It's 2/10 of a mill collected by the county, passed through to each of the 8 libraries in the county. It's passed through based on the library service area. So depending on your service population, that money's divided to each library depending on their service population. The money can be used by however each director and board sees fit. I think at the Sandusky Library, it covered pretty much all of our collection budget. Deckerville Library, Peck Library, some of the smaller libraries may have trouble staying open, if this millage wasn't available. Their funding's a little more tenuous than some of the other larger libraries. So Bonnie's the most recent member whose position comes up for reappointment. And I'm asking you if you'd be kind enough to reappoint her to that board. So do you have any questions at all?
Any questions for Gail? Okay,
Thank
hearing none.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, next up, we're gonna have an interview for Veterans Affairs Committee, Don Ruby, or Rudy, sorry. You come on up, Don.
Okay.
Welcome.
Good evening, Don Rudy. I've been resident of Sanilac County almost my entire life, except for a few odd years in Huron County where I was born, but then Uncle Sam took me on a vacation trip for 3 years, so I spent 18 months in Vietnam. I am a veteran. I'm very honored to serve on this board. I'm thankful for an opportunity to serve, and I'm asking to be reinstated. Veterans make up less than 1% of the population of this country. Hard to believe, you'd think there's a lot more, but there isn't. And oftentimes we don't get treated that well. I've had my own personal experiences. 2012, I had a stent put in and thought I would get some help from the VA to take care of the medication they put me on, which was running about $500 a month. I went to them and they said, because I hadn't used any of my benefits since I got out of service, I was like 40 years out of service, I no longer qualified. And if it wouldn't have been for Shannon going to bat, I would not. And I'm now on 80% disability because of the stuff she's done. I hope the board realizes how good job Shannon and her assistant do. They do a lot of help. And I think we as a board do a lot of help for the citizens here, the veterans of this county. There is a need in a lot of veterans. And it's hard, oftentimes, they're usually too proud to do anything, so we do an awful lot up there, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity to help fellow veterans, and I hopefully will be reappointed. I really do appreciate the opportunity to serve not only them, but community and the county. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, that will conclude our interviews for today. We're going to move directly into making appointments to boards. The first one up being a 5-year term expiring 6/30/30 for the library board. I'll entertain a motion to appoint Bonnie Erb.
I'll make that motion.
Support. I have a motion from Commissioner Lee, support from Commissioner Ehart to appoint Bonnie Erb to the library board. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Bonnie is appointed.
Thank you.
Next up is the Veterans Affairs Committee. I have one appointment for a 4-year term expiring 7/1/2029. I will entertain a motion to appoint Don Rudy to that position.
I'll make that motion. Support, sorry.
I have a motion from Commissioner Heberlein, support from Commissioner Ballard to appoint Don Rudy to the Veterans Affairs Committee. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Don, you are reappointed. Thank you for your service to the
Thank you
community.
very much.
Thank you.
That's going to conclude appointments to committees. We're gonna, no need for 13B or 14 for county chair appointments. There is no general resolutions today, so we're gonna land at committee reports, and we'll start with Commissioner Moody.
I attended Michigan Works last Friday with Roger. Nothing really to report from there. And I also had emergency management and nothing real to report from there last week. And then I have medical care facility Monday.
Okay, thank you, John. Evans?
I've had no committee the past 2 weeks.
Okay. I myself and Commissioner Heberlein have a county planning commission county planning commission meeting today at 3:00. That's all I have. Christine?
I had attended the Council on Aging meeting on Monday and I had some flyers, senior Sunday meal at the senior center on Sunday, June 22nd, doors open at noon. And lunch served at 12:30, 60 and older, $3 donations and RSVP. Also, the senior fair on the 27th at Sandusky High School. And they'll have 20 plus vendors. And I know one of the vendors they have this little thing that you can hang on your refrigerator and you can list all your medical conditions, your medicines and all this so that when the ambulance comes, they know to look and they have your record in case you can't talk or whatever. So if you're allergic to a certain medication, they know not to give you that. And so they have some really good stuff that's going to happen there. And that Silent Transportation is going to provide free rides to the senior fair for seniors only. And then they've got a matter of balance class that's starting up in July. And we looked at our budget for the next year. And then I have CAPC, that upcoming events, Kids Day at Thumb Festival, June 28th. Free movie Saturday, July 12th. Free bowling Saturday, July 19th. The Youth Empowerment Camp is Thursday, August 21st. Child Safety Matters, they finished the program up in Peck and Marlette. They are going to start one in Peck, Marlette, Deckerville, Sandusky, and CPS scheduled for the fall. The registration for the Youth Empowerment Camp is now open. They have 40 kids that have signed up. The camp is August 21st. And that's the flyer. So if you know anybody, that's a flyer for the movies. That's a flyer for the bowling. And then, see, you guys don't know. I had my health department meeting. A group of private citizens expressed their concerns about boring that is affecting their wells. One that could be a half a mile to 3/4 mile away. It's a connection with the wind turbines. The new outreach specialist started in June. Food inspections done 80%. Renewal license 100%. Food trucks, there's 20 to 21. They get 2 inspections per year before they can get their license the following year in April. Brian is still working on the solar ordinance that we talked. He's got background. He's got all these. He's been going through all the different townships to see what type of ordinance they have for it. And he found that out. So far, there's a few that don't have a website, so he's got to contact them personally. But he found out that Delaware Township has the strictest ordinance for their wind and solar. And he says that we might want to be more concerned about these data centers that are popping up because they use more electricity, more whatever, more contamination than the wind and the solar. They updated 3 policies. Dr. Hammond talked about tick bites and Lyme disease, and there was these are the township. I got more papers. And there's what you could do to help prevent that. And eating more fruits and veggies may help you sleep better at night. That's all I have to report.
Good report, Christine.
Any particular type?
Yeah, really, I don't sleep with a dark.
Well, you're not eating your veggies, then you're.
Apparently not.
Gotta eat. Oh, broccoli, great. The,
Shucks, I'd rather stay awake.
the health department's not joking about that tick issue. It really
Yeah.
is. One of my kids
They're
got
bad
one.
this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and went to a friend's house and they were playing in the grass and came home with one. So
Yeah.
it's real.
Where I live, I haven't seen a tick since like 1995 or something like that. And then the last couple of years, they're just been terrible.
It's those warm winters that we're
Yeah.
having. It isn't killing them off.
So if anybody wants to see this about the ticks and what to do and whatever you do, don't use a match and try to burn them out.
Couple on me.
Is that why my kid screamed when I removed his?
And you want to make sure you get the head out because you break the body out and the head's the one that cause more damage than.
Very good. Excellent report, Christine. Thank you. Bill,
I don't know if I can follow that report.
you gotta have some show and tell information over there.
Well, we did have a landfill and recycling meeting. The building's been painted inside, so we hope maybe next time or a couple meetings from now, we'll be able to gather and actually meet over there and see what the inside looks like. It's been much more presented. We do have a new member on the board and we're looking at establishing bylaws, and then our household waste collection will be September 9th at the fairgrounds from 2 to 6 PM. Am I right on the time on that?
When is that gonna be again?
September 9th.
And yeah, that'll be in the paper, posted.
Yeah, so there'll be a lot of publicity on that again.
Very good. I think that's a great event.
Yes. We can always use volunteers too, to assist with all the assorted products that come through.
I thought you liked stacking tires.
Well, there's more than just tires that come through there. I'm the oil specialist, actually.
Gotcha.
Oh, you decide this is good.
That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Bill. Gary?
Thank you, John. I did attend the landfill and recycle meeting a couple weeks ago. And I'm not on that board. Bill took my place when our areas were changed, but as the commissioners appointed me to the Bud County Material Management Board, I asked Nathan if I could attend those meetings as a visitor. Sometimes there's things go on that meeting, I relate to them, but Bill covered it well, what was discussed in the meeting. And also, we had a Parks Board meeting at Evergreen, and great meeting, a lot of stuff we covered in the meetings, but one of the things they're putting together a 5-year plan. I see Joe put that out here when I was down in North Carolina. There was a tour of the new putt-putt golf course at Pavilion, and there's a lot of great things happening at Evergreen Park. And as you said tonight, we got our next meeting, our planning committee. So, end of my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. Roger?
Speaking of parks, they had their first fishing derby here, what was it, a week ago Saturday? And great turnout. I went up there, I got there about 8:30 in the morning. The thing started at 9, ran till noon or 1. They said they had people lined up at 7 wanting to register. They had over 100 entries, about 50-50 kids and adults. Great turnout. They were having a blast. They had a lure company, a local lure company, donate some lures and set up there. The DNR was there. Tom Lounsbury, the local outdoor celebrity, was there. He's always very interesting to talk to. I was there till about 11:30, quarter to 12. Took some pictures and talked to a lot of people. Saw a lot of happy kids. The first little girl that brought a fish up was just jumping up and down. You could hear her screaming all over the place. It was a great family outing, and their intent is to make that a annual event. And we hosted the event. The park did. I say we, Joe and the staff at Evergreen. But the Cass River Greenway here in Harbor Beach Conservation Club and a couple other groups. Marlette Sportsmen helped out. Marlette Boy Scouts were there. A lot of groups collaborated on that, made it a really good event. This Saturday at Forester Park is the Summer Carnival. It's $5. It's a kids carnival. They have games. They have a dunk tank that's $1 for 3 balls. You can dunk your favorite park employee. Unfortunately, I'm busy that weekend. I'll be watching motorcycle races, but they have a good response to that. And Steve bought a new foam machine, so that he's got a foam gun that's going to be spraying foam all over everybody, I guess. I don't know, but they look forward to that every year. I think the staff has as much fun as the kids. Let's see what else we got going. I attended the Delaware Township meeting, as John mentioned. Steve BOC, our outgoing manager at Forester, has put together a proposal for 10 cabins at Delaware. And we wanted to present that to the township. They were very receptive of it. It's in the very early planning stages. We don't know the timeline of it because that is very dependent on the grant for Lexington. We could potentially start by putting in septic and probably the roads for that. Whether or not we get that grant doesn't make much difference in that regard, but to do the whole project, it might be down into 27 before we can complete it. But it's, Steve's put a lot of thought into it. Quitter Steve, as I call him, or Steve Quitter, he'll answer to either one. But, he's put a lot of thought and work into it. It's got a potential of a 3 to 4 year payback on that project, and it'll be completely paid for. That's using no grant, strictly park funding. So looking forward, we're going to keep moving forward on that. DTF, we met the 9th. We approved the budget, reviewed the monthly reports, and approved the purchase of shields, which I believe Lieutenant Moore is here today on that. See what else. Michigan Works Friday, like John mentioned. I get there early. I chair the finance committee. We approved 61 pages of checks. And at the board meeting, I also chair that, the governing board. Michigan Works is mostly funded by federal money, but the effects so far seem to be minimal on that. There aren't too many concerns, so they think they'll be able to continue pretty much status quo. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Roger. Appreciate everyone's committee reports. We're going to move on. I see no need for unfinished business, so we're going to move directly into new business. Today, we're going to start out with FA 085-25, approval of current claims.
Sanilac County Board of Commissioners hereby approves the payment of current claims identified on the accounts payable report dated June 10th, 2025 for the general bank account in the amount of $227,803.25.
Motion from Commissioner Sarkelis, support from Commissioner Ballard. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to FA 086-25, budget adoptions, amendments, appropriations, and transfers.
Sanilac County Board of Commissioners hereby approves the following amendments and establishes the following accounts as listed.
I have a motion from Finance Chairman Sarkelis, support from Commissioner Ehart. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to FA 087-25, approval of additional general fund bank accounts checks charged to May 2025.
Sanilac County Board of Commissioners hereby approves the payment of additional general fund bank account checks charged May 2025 as follows. $1,368,412.05 in ACH payments, $1,059,611.45 in checks for a total of $2,428,023.50.
Support.
I have a motion from Commissioner Sarkelis, supported from Commissioner Lee. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to FA 089-25, acceptance of performance evaluation and approval of contract.
Sanilac County Board of Commissioners hereby authorizes the proposal for the court restructuring and to reduce.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Wait.
Oh, did you skip that?
I think I did. Yeah, I apologize.
8825.
Yeah. So I'm at, my bad, Bill. FA 088-25, authorization of court restructuring.
We're doing court restructuring.
Yeah. If I could, I've got an update on that for the board.
Okay, yeah, go ahead, Nathan.
Let me speak. Thank you. So, I guess I just want to start out by saying, I would ask that the board remove this from the agenda today. To let you know, and I know there was an email correspondence yesterday. I got notice late yesterday from the union that they had some issues with the situation, the way it was handled. I met with them, had some discussion regarding their concerns. I also followed up with legal regarding the concerns the union had. in that discussion was legal, I want the board to know that it was made clear to me that this, if the board felt compelled, could move forward with this. This situation is a reorganization, which differs from a reclassification procedure, which is a big portion of what was, I guess, was what we were discussing as being part of the issue yesterday. The union felt there was some reclassifications that took place that were outside a typical window of when they took place. However, it should be noted that it was a reorganization with the elimination of a position, and as a result of that elimination of positions, some cross-training things took place. So it was part of a bigger thing, which is not defined within policy and is allowable by contract. So we did have some discussion, and the other thing is employer rights, right in the contract. Employer rights do allow for the reduction of the workforce, which is taking place in this situation. Employer rights also are defined that it allows for reorganization and the combination of any parts of the operations. So now we're faced with a situation where, based on the request of the union, you know, I'm going to request that you pause this, that we don't move it forward right now. I'd like to allow some time. I'm going to work on, I think, defining and cleaning some things up within the policy for reclassifications and defining the difference between a reclassification and a reorganization. I think, like I said, it came late yesterday and I was scrambling a little bit, and it was one of those situations that I think the longer I thought about it, I think the more frustration set in just because of the time when this came forward. I mean, I had some discussions after there was a union representative in the finance meeting 2 weeks ago. I had some discussion last week with the union representative, and then I got kind of this late email in the afternoon yesterday. So, however, we had some good discussions. A bit frustrating the way this all went down, but I'm going to ask for a pause. I think we've all worked for good camaraderie and good harmony within the county. I think we've achieved a lot of those things. I talked to Judge Rathel this morning about it. He agrees that in an effort to try to maintain some of those things, he would be supportive of this being put on pause. But this is something that I do believe will move forward. I just want to get some things defined within some policies and have a little bit further discussion.
So Nathan, it looks like there's some things that he worked out. I guess the right motion right now be made to table that until further notice.
Well, we'll get into the procedural part of it here in just a second, because this will end up referring us to a future meeting, I believe will be the way to handle it.
Okay.
But my question, Nathan, is did the union have any reason for the late hour of bringing this up? Because this very topic would have landed on a finance agenda 3 weeks ago. We find out yesterday that they have an issue with this?
Yeah, it was in the afternoon yesterday, and I think, yeah, I didn't get clear explanation as to why. I think there was a lot of discussion, and then finally, I guess at some point it came to a head. But I think that's the thing that stuck with me the most is just it created a situation where then I'm in chaos mode trying to figure out how to move this forward. And like I said, we worked hard to try to be very harmonious and I think be very fair to employees. And I felt like this was a little bit disrespectful.
Yeah,
This is still something that Judge Rathel wants, right?
It is.
I don't see why we don't move forward with it still today. Just my thought.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds to me, Nathan, from the legal's perspective, we're well within our rights to move this forward. But the reason why we may not do that is to attempt to kind of continue to build this positive relationship with these other organizations by giving them an opportunity to air their concerns.
Yeah.
That's the approach
they've had.
Agreed, John. I can't argue against your point. It is frustrating because Nathan came to the unions early this year, provided them substantial time to work through their contracts and gave them every advantage. And this is how we get treated in kind.
Was there something new?
Well, I think what was the two things that we're hung up on is the difference between a reorganization and a reclassification. And then secondly, there was some issue taken with I guess the job studies, if you will, with those reclassifications being done in-house, because typically those had in recent time been sent out to a third party for evaluation, and those had been done in-house, which I told them there's been some request and movement amongst this board for those to be done in-house. And I said this was a good project to, because it was a limited number, a small scope as part of a reorganization to try that approach out. And yeah.
So, as of right now, Nathan, I have one commissioner that's vocalizing an intent to potentially move forward with this. But I want commissioners to understand what our options are. So from a procedural standpoint, I would look at this from the position of it could be denied, it could be approved, or it could be referred to a future meeting. My question to you is if the desire is to refer, how much time do you need? Because I don't want to refer this to a meeting in 2 weeks if you feel this is something that's going to take 4 to flush out. And we would simply refer it to a further meeting.
I don't see any reason this should take longer than 30 days to resolve. Like I said, I think there's some tweaks that need to be made to the policy, and outside of that, I don't think much will have to happen, but I would have to meet with the policy committee, which is
John and
Commissioner Moody and Commissioner Block, discuss that, and then we would move that forward.
So I would suppose then the options would be approve, deny, or refer to the second meeting of July, because that would be the one that would give us an opportunity to do what you want to do, which is to work through this with them and have them have an opportunity to have discussion. So
Mr. Chairman, I clearly understand what Commissioner Moody's saying. I kind of go along with that, but I want to revert back to you. Because you brought up the word harmonious for a few times. The question I have, what's really going to change that we've already put on the table or voting for? And if it's going to take 30 days, I guess it takes 30 days. So we want everything to work out. But I'm with Mr. Moody. We've discussed this at length. We've had this in former meetings, and
I agree. I think what they're looking for is some clear, I guess, definition of the reclassification process, the time frame those reclassifications take place, who conducts those reclassifications. And what I'm looking to do is to then take it a step further to, I guess, define reorganizations are separate from reclassifications. Right in the contracts, it says that management rights allow for reorganizations to take place at any point, and positions can be combined, duties can be combined. So, I mean, I don't think we can obviously take that away, but I think if we define that, I think that would appease the unions on this. But the outcome, I hope it doesn't in any way change the outcome. I still think this is a positive. It's elimination of a position. It's going to save the taxpayer dollars. It's going to allow 3 employees to receive, based on what I found, a reclassification, which is a pay increase. So I mean, we're saving taxpayer dollars, putting a couple employees in a better position. That's a pretty unique circumstance that I think multiple people will benefit from.
I agree, Nathan. It is. It's unfortunate that we're in this situation now because a lot of work was put into this and it is a well thought out plan. But it is what it is. So I will entertain a motion to either for approval of this, denial of this, or to refer this to the second meeting of July.
I'll make a motion to move it to the second meeting in July.
I have a motion from Commissioner Sarkella. Is there support?
support.
I have support from Commissioner Heberling to move the authorization of the core restructuring to our second meeting of July. Is there any discussion?
Yes. Again, Commissioner Moody, I appreciate what you said. I agree with you. But I also want to say, Nathan, you're the one working with this. And in the past, you've done a fabulous job working with the unions, and both you and John. So I'm going to take your directive and your advice over what maybe Commissioner Moody and I believe, but if that's gonna get us over the hurdle and work it out and everybody agreed, then
Is there adequate time for personnel to meet and get these policy issues resolved and
I'm gonna be gone for
through?
a couple weeks.
That is something I just realized John won't be here at our next meeting.
So I don't know if that's for me to meet for personnel
What about
or
availability?
for
Policy.
policy.
What about availability through email? John, I hate to bug you on your European trip, but would you be able to check it and?
Yeah.
Okay, because we could probably make that work. Whatever he comes up with, we could do it that way.
I think I can get some policy stuff together. Yeah, that should work. I'm gonna be out for a period of time too, but I have some time still tomorrow and, yeah, I should be able to get something together to you guys.
Okay. Sounds good. Is there any further discussion? Okay, we have a motion before us to refer this to our second meeting in July. For hearing no more discussion, all in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Okay, motion is carried. And that is referred to our second meeting of July. Good discussion, everybody. Moving on, we are going to now move on to FA 089-25, acceptance of performance evaluation and approval of contract.
Santa Clara County Board of Commissioners hereby accepts the county administrator / controller Nathan Roski's 2024-2025 performance evaluation. Said is highly effective and further approves the following 1-year extension employment agreement, further sets the salary at $111,000 for 2025.
I have a motion from Commissioner Sarcella, support from Commissioner Ehart. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to FA 090-25, approval of letter of understanding, equalization office.
Santa Clara County Board of Commissioners hereby approves the letter of understanding between temporary employee Shelley Menard and the County of Santa Clara to assist with training in the equalization office for the summer and winter tax season at a rate of $25 per hour and not to exceed 3750 hours in total for immediate approval and to further authorize the board chairman to sign the letter.
I have a motion from Commissioner Sarcella, support from Commissioner Heberlein. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried.
I told her she'd be back.
Moving on to FA 091-25, award and authorization of our audit RFP.
Santa Clara County Board of Commissioners hereby awards and audiorizes Clark Schaefer Hackett the bid for the purpose of auditing services for the years 2025, 2026, 2027, 2028, and 2029 for a total cost not to exceed $240,949 and further authorizes the board chairman to sign the necessary agreement.
Support.
I have a motion from Commissioner Sarcella, support from Commissioner Lee. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to FA 092-25, authorization for election coding training, County Clerk's Office.
Santa Clara County Board of Commissioners hereby authorizes the county clerk to move forward with attending election coding training at a cost not to exceed $7,000 with funding from the election infrastructure grant funds for immediate approval.
I have a motion from Commissioner Sarcella, support from Commissioner Moody. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. That's going to conclude new business, so I'm going to call for general public comments. Are there any general public comments? Welcome. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm Christy Sutherland from Human Development Commission. Commissioner Lee, you stole my thunder. I did want to talk about our summer Sunday meal at the Sandusky High Rise. Our dining center is going to have a Sunday meal, June, July, and August. We're going to try to reach some more older adults for a meal, and it is roast beef on the menu. So hoping to be able to kind of spread that word. I do have some buyers here, but it is this Sunday, and we do ask for reservations, so we have enough food for everybody. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any further public comment today? Seeing none, we are going to move on.
I just want to add, not really public. I forgot to mention kind of a big event coming up. July 11th, we're going to have a ribbon cutting at Evergreen Park on our grant project. It will be at 1 p.m. There's going to be a ceremonial first putt No, you can't do it.
Who is doing it then?
I'm gonna.
You're gonna be the first one?
After 5.
Now that I know you're doing, I might come, I might want to see that.
I'll challenge you right here.
If you, if you,
Gets it.
Okay.
I'll bring a putting green and everything.
So, and then we will also have a ribbon cutting down by the kayak launch, which they are both open and usable now. I don't know how the putt-putt's going. I know there's a lot of excitement about it. The kayak launch I witnessed when I was pulling in on my bike, the Saturday of the fishing derby. There were, I think, 8 of them in the water and 1 more going in, trying to get out of the way before all the kids started casting fish hooks. But it's gone over real well, so it's pretty exciting.
Roger, the kayak launch, is that something that 24/7, 365 days, it's open, county residents can go utilize
Not
it?
365, it will come out in the winter.
So they'll remove it in the,
Yep.
I mean, obviously, I just meant, it's
Yeah.
not something where, so you ain't gotta buy a permit,
Nope.
nobody needs to be there.
Nope.
If it's a beautiful
It's free to
Sunday,
use.
just go out there and use it.
Free to use.
Okay.
The putt-putt there is $5 charge for that, but
Can we put that on your tab?
you can, I don't have one up there.
You will after this weekend,
You'll know about your tab once you get it built.
Yeah,
right? Leslie, week after, right? We can, yeah.
you can try.
Was that all you had, Roger?
Yeah.
Okay. I see no need for closed session or approval of closed session minutes, so I will entertain a motion to adjourn our BOC meeting at 2:00.
Make that motion.
Or
Motion of support, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. We are adjourned. But every day we do it exactly an hour.
I like it.